Just a couple of redneck amigos full of BS reviewing bourbon, tequila, rum, beer, and more. Boozy Spirits.
Boozy Spirits live again, and we have a special guest in the studio today.
Yeah, very special.
In more ways than one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We have Hayes Webb, District Attorney for Tuscaloosa County. What's going on? First of all, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, we appreciate you joining us.
Look, I appreciate y'all having me. I've seen the show. I think it's great. Yeah, I love it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
I like what you're doing.
Appreciate it.
So tell us a little bit about you. I know you went to Auburn.
Yeah.
But I know you also
That's a good way to get started.
I know you also went to Alabama, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, both. Yeah, that's a good way to get
But
started.
where's your loyalty? I know where it is.
Yeah, look, War Eagle. I mean, that's
There you go.
It's, I mean, here, and it's funny because you start off district attorney. Yeah, I'm elected. Yes, and it's funny that people walk in my office from out of town and stuff. They're like, oh my gosh, how can you do that? And at the end of the day, I am what I am.
Yep,
absolutely. And I am mindful in this regard, is I don't ever want to be seen to be like flaunting it in the sense of not appreciating our constituency. I mean, these are our people, and I don't want to be like, I don't care. I mean, I do care.
Right.
So I don't want to be flaunting, but I also want to be honest with what I am, whether it's about my sports team or anybody else.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, when I think about it, how nice is it that I'm in a community that cares more about our shared values, beliefs, desires for the community than about who you root for. You know what I mean?
I agree with you.
And so it's excellent. So I'm very fortunate. So love Auburn.
I get a lot of that in the restaurant industry. Obviously, like same position we have Auburn fans, Alabama fans, probably a couple Tennessee fans, maybe. So we have to
Really?
I don't know, maybe. So like when I do post on social media, I try not to be like Roll Tide, jalapenos, Roll Tide, because I know it's gonna piss off somebody. They're like, I'm not gonna eat there because Roll Tide. But you have to be kind of political with that. But at the same time, we have an Alabama picture hanging up and stuff. Like you said, it's who I am. I'm an Alabama fan. I went to Alabama.
Right.
But I'm also not like, piss on everybody else. I don't care.
Yeah.
You have to play both sides of them.
Yeah, I've got a horticulture degree from Auburn, so landscape design.
Okay.
So I try to keep a nice looking yard. Yeah. And but my livelihood, has always been what I did over here at Alabama, law school. So
Okay, cool.
Very grateful. And, it's funny too, because we have a great relationship with the school, multiple of the schools within the school, and also football team and stuff, been very welcoming, go to practice, different things like that. It's just nice, people that are concerned about what's actually important, so it's a good thing. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. Well, before we get started, we got some blind pours here for you, some whiskey bourbons for you and Matt. Matt doesn't know what it is either.
Yeah.
And you're a bourbon guy, right?
Well, I mean, I like it. Yeah, I like it.
So we'll start from the left to the right. That's the way we're going.
Okay.
All right.
So while we're sitting here talking, you can sip on number one on this one for you and Matt and kind of see what you think about it. Yeah.
Hey, cheers. Thanks for having me, guys.
I got something completely
Appreciate
different.
it. Thank you.
I got Rashawn's Old Forester pick. Shout out to Rashawn.
Oh, that's a good pick, too. What you think?
Well, we can progress all the way through as we're talking, and then go back again. And I'll
water between.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'll tell you later. I'll tell you what each one is. Let you kind of rate them and see. This one's amazing. This one's crap. And see what you think about it. How's that sound, Matt?
That sounds good. This tastes kind of like a higher proof, but it's pretty light.
Yeah.
Can't tell you what it is. You gotta wait.
What if I arm wrestle you
do.
here?
Good.
I do like it, though.
Like that one?
Yeah, I like it. Have you ever had Irons 1 from
Out of
Huntsville?
Huntsville, yeah.
I hadn't had that one.
Yeah, there's a...
Yeah,
we've
got a bottle over
got
there.
one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll try it in a minute.
It's a different flavor profile. It's
It is.
I think it's like a year or less that he's got it cast
Real
in
young.
one of these mini
Okay, so
casts, so it doesn't look any different, but just...
And when you get the mini cast, you have more surface area, so it actually ages quicker.
Yes.
I've tried some at my house, just playing around with it before. I want to say every month is 6 months.
Okay.
So it ages a whole lot quicker.
Yeah.
Because it's just small casts instead of gigantic barrels.
Right.
So,
A lot more surface area.
yeah, for sure. You like that one, Matt?
I do like that one. Yeah.
You want to know what it is, or you want to progress, or you want? I got a little bit more if you want a little extra taste of it.
Let's do next.
Do next one.
Yeah.
So move on to the second one.
Do we have any hints or anything?
No hints, nothing.
Okay.
You can take some guesses.
It's all bourbon.
There's one whiskey in there somewhere.
Okay.
So what do we have going on in Tuscaloosa these days, Mr. Hayes?
That.
Not a fan of that one.
Wow, that strong alcohol comes through. Like
That particular one, it grows on you. I didn't like it at first, and I grew to love that one. It grows on
really.
you.
That's
Yeah, you can definitely taste the, like you said, the alcohol part.
See one of those glasses, man. I want to taste it.
that. Yeah, that alcohol's
A little different.
good ethanol, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could drink it, but first was good. That's
I try to mix it up a little.
Yeah.
Now, do you usually drink neat?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The way to do it.
It is.
Yeah. It's funny. I think I've got a greater tolerance for spirits, especially whiskey, American whiskey, bourbon, right, than I do for beer.
Yeah.
I drink way less beer just because of the calories.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if I have a beer, I'll be like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" One beer
Hits you a little
kinda
differently.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. It's funny because you'd expect it from the bourbon, but
Yeah, I agree with that. Same thing happens to me because I'm not a big beer drinker. And I'll
Yeah.
have one beer and I'm like, it's only 5%, but I feel a buzz.
I'm right.
Do you
Right.
really?
Yeah, I just drank 130 proof and I'm fine.
That's it's got to be a tolerance
Or
thing.
maybe it's a placebo effect or something.
It's something for sure. The Tuscaloosa, what's going on? Lots of good stuff, lots of bad stuff too. It's we've got grand jury this week up at our office. All felony cases have to come through the grand jury, essentially all of them. I tell those folks when I go in and speak with them, I haven't met with this group yet. We have another lawyer who does that job, but I go in and speak and, just engage for a few minutes, thank them for their service and stuff. But, tell them that most of them are very fortunate that they, like we, are not directly impacted by crime day in and day out. So they're really removed from the reality, but also then from the knowledge of what's going on, you know. Because here, for every shooting you see, there could be multiple others that are not crimes or not reported.
That's a lot of stuff. I tell like my daughter and my wife, they're always like, man, it's so dangerous lately and stuff. I'm like, just because social media. Before you didn't have that, so you didn't see all the reporting. Then
It is true.
I have a criminal justice degree, so like, I have a lot of law enforcement buddies. So I'll hear stories and stuff. I'm like, there's so much stuff that goes on that's never in the news, never on social media.
And that's probably a good thing.
It is a good thing.
For anywhere.
Yeah, 100%. There's no question. In fact, both Tuscaloosa Police Department, Sheriff's Office have long-standing data or data that goes back a long ways that shows actually crime overall, felonious crime, is down significantly over time. The only stuff that's not down significantly is the violent crime.
Yeah.
And that's obviously the most attention getting and the most significant also.
And is that mainly younger kids, under 18, over 18, or
I'd say
50-50?
20 to 22 is kind of that over-under. If you said 50-50, and that's anecdotal.
Yeah.
But there are lots of kids, that are not ever known about out here doing really bad stuff. But then we get 38-year-olds, 40-year-olds doing stupid stuff too. So it's unfortunate.
So kind of that age, like after 18, get out of high school and kind of they get an adult and they start trying to be badasses and do whatever.
No, I think that it's more like the youngsters. It's just kind of the environment in which they're immersed, and so they're doing it. And I think when you see the others, I don't think that they've fallen into it later in life. I just think that some of them are still doing it.
Career criminals.
Yeah. And it's terrible for them, terrible for their families, terrible for the victims. It's rotten.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, for sure.
Y'all can drink to that.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I'm going to say this kind of numbs my lips a little bit.
I didn't like that particular one at first, but it grew on me.
It's funny that after I'd had some at the beginning and then here
it grows on you.
later,
It's different.
Then when I come back to it, yeah, it's definitely a little palatable second time around.
What you think, Matt?
I would do a thumbs up for sure, but it's different.
I'm excited
It's
to
different.
tell y'all about them
Yeah.
later. Some good stuff.
It doesn't have the same sort of, and it was darker than that first one, I think, but it didn't have the same depth, maybe flavor,
Yeah.
because the alcohol itself was so strong.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I can't really tell much about it because I don't want to give anything away just yet. We'll go into that in a minute.
Okay.
Okay. So what's the average day of a district attorney look like? And I know there's no average day.
I know that as business owners, it's always different day by day. I'm sure it's the same with you.
It's funny because I am honestly, I just believe in our system. And so lawyering, I was a criminal defense lawyer for 19 years now, prosecutor, district attorney, and I love it because our only job is to go find truth. It's not to, hey, they said it's a case, so it's a case. No. If we don't believe it's a case, then we don't move forward with it. It's a great thing. We don't have clients, Yep. And for me, I'm really fortunate because there are 42 DAs in the state. And some of them have larger offices, and we do. We're probably about number 5 out of the 42 in the state of the offices. But some of them have multiple counties, and some of those folks have really essentially no staff. They have much less crime, but their job is really in the courtroom day in and day out, and they're just lawyering.
Do you have to try a lot of cases for people that don't know, or are you just more behind the scenes?
Yeah, that's me. This office is large enough that it's so much administrative that I've tried, I think, 2 or 3 cases. It was funny because before I started, I'd never prosecuted a single case ever in any fashion. And then here, you start, and first case I ever tried was a capital murder case after I'd been there 2.5 years. But, surrounded by exceptional people, both staff, lawyers, and we got a bunch of youngsters always. And it's really, to me, the profession is so important. I mean, it's important to all of us.
Yes, it is.
And so to be able, we really try to mentor and build them, the way that they think about things, both trial-wise, but also substantively attacking cases. And it's just a great thing. But I'm fortunate. I call myself the cheerleader in charge because a whole lot of what I'm doing is I have what I would say is the luxury of sorts, of really being able, to try, and I don't want to overstate this, kind of coaching people, and kind
of like the general leading the army, kind of tell them where they need to go and stuff like that in a way.
I hate to make myself that, but yes. I mean, that's what it is. But it's just great people doing lots of good work for the community, and it's nice to be around them for sure. Yeah, doing a good thing.
Yeah, a couple of times I've gotten the jury summons show up, and they're like, what's your profession? Like, I own a restaurant. What, do you have a degree? I'm like, criminal justice. Okay, you leave. Leave.
We don't want you figuring things out for us.
I think I've gotten called twice, and they're like, we'll take you off the list. Because I was like, you're just wasting time.
Yeah. It's so funny because here I'm a lawyer. When I was a criminal defense lawyer and actually trying cases more frequently, it was heck, I wanted more than anything to get on a jury because I wanted to get back there and see what are people's, like, what motivates them, what are they thinking, how are they thinking to help me better, do my job, and I can't get called for jury duty ever, and 26 years I had wished for it. There you are, you've been up there twice.
Yeah, but I never got called though, like instantly, like criminal justice, psychology, you're out.
You're gone. Yeah, I get it. I
wanted to like lie and say something else. I wanted to, like you said, go behind the scenes and like be part of something, but you're out.
Yeah, my son's a 2L over here at UA Law School, and he's got a criminal justice degree, and then my niece is over here from Georgia, and she's also in CJ right now.
Okay,
so,
cool.
Yeah, all in the family.
Yeah, there you go.
Good.
It was a fun program. We had some good times with it.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah,
some good classes.
Good.
You want to move on to the third one, see what you think?
Let's do it. I like it. It's it's interesting. I don't know if I'm right about this. It feels like high alcohol without the overwhelming ethanol taste that I got from number 2. So it's like I feel a little greater ethanol burn, but I'm not getting the taste with it. It's more
getting a taste on it.
Yeah, I'm getting a more full whiskey flavor, if you will. Yeah.
What you think, Matt?
Yeah, I get the burn all the way down my throat, which I love.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great, but you don't have the taste of the second one.
Yeah.
Which it's much easier to drink, even though it's got a little. It feels like higher alcohol content.
Yeah.
I want to say
Got a
they're
good flavor.
It's a little higher. They're right around the same though.
Okay.
It's not too much different.
It's just the flavor profile, I guess.
Yeah, a little different.
A lot better.
So do you have a lot of weird hours being a DA, or is it pretty structured?
It's, I mean, the office is open from 8 to 5, and then our staff are pretty much 8 to 5.
Yeah. You get called in like weird hours, something happens, or I kind of just wait till the next day kind of thing?
Our lawyers can get called anytime, day, night, violent crimes. A lot of times they're called upon to provide some, legal feedback about what the situation is. Is there a proper charge here or not? What is it? That sort of thing. Yeah, I get calls from, and it's a great relationship. We're so appreciative. Tuscaloosa Police Department. We started something several years ago. I wanted to know when there's some shooting, right? And so any shooting, TPD in contact. So you get calls in the middle of the night about that. You know. And
the same for the
grateful
Northport and County Police.
actually, that communication is particularly with Tuscaloosa Police Department. We did also, Northport's much smaller.
Yeah,
they do a great job. Also, we're fortunate to have such great law enforcement around here.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
And I say that having been on both sides of it here, 26 years, practicing criminal law. And Northport, Chief Burton, he actually texts me specifically, hey, we've got this going on. But there's a lot less going on there.
I like Chief Burton. I see him. He's always out in the morning at Northport Intermediate directing traffic. My daughter to school. Which is cool to see. Like that's the police chief. He's in the middle of the road directing traffic.
Pretty impressive.
Instead of saying, hey, you go do it because I'm the chief. Like,
he's
like, I'm going to go do it. Like, I always thought that was cool.
It's really cool. And I wouldn't sit here and say things just to glad hand. We really do have good law enforcement here, good leadership, really good, collaborative working, all together, very supportive. We get good support from Northport, good support from Tuscaloosa, obviously from the county sheriff's office. I mean, it's just good stuff. UA have great relationship. It's just really good all around. Which at the end of the day, it benefits a community.
Absolutely.
So
you can all work together, and there's no bickering and fighting for the most part. Like
that's right.
Hate this guy, hate that guy. Like not doing something like.
No, that's right.
So that collaboration, working together is always a good thing.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna move on to number 4.
Oh yeah, I'm stuck.
Stuck in there. Get you a straw.
Is it really?
Matt did that, not me.
Hold on. Yeah.
I'll break it.
That's the one I didn't take off.
Oh, you got the little seal on it.
Oh, that's the spill preventer. Yeah, gotcha.
That's dumb.
Oh, but you put that. So that
was Matt's fault.
I got you. That was Matt's fault.
Yeah,
it is.
It's one of my favorites.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I'm trying to.
You like that one?
Yeah.
It's look. I'm not one of these pinky drinkers, but I hate also not to acknowledge it's got interestingly really smooth mouthfeel.
It does.
Yeah. You get that? It's really kind of like silky.
For sure. Got some sweetness.
Yeah.
Give it a
That's
taste.
good. Yeah.
What's good doing blind tasting? I did some with my buddy the other night. We did some early times. One of his favorites did a blind tasting. He's like, "It's okay." I was like, "That's early time." He's like, "No, it's not." I'm like,
"That's why I love a blind tasting."
I love it because you have no idea coming in what it is.
Right.
Like I might have just gave you Jack Daniels, or that might be Pappy. You don't know.
Right.
So you're completely blind.
And listen, I will acknowledge too, as foolish as I may be, that's all good because I know I don't know.
Oh, I don't, and we don't either. We're learning.
We're going with it. I just poured myself a little bit. Number 4, that's a really good one.
They say practice makes perfect, and I feel like we're practicing pretty well.
Well, I would say the same on podcasting. We think we're getting better at it. Getting better at interviewing and talking to people and hitting our groove with it.
I might want some more of that.
Some more of that one.
Yeah, no, I think you do a great job.
Thank you.
I told you. Tennessee Hate Week, baby.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
Yeah, I just texted Matt immediately when I saw that. I was like, yeah, that was good.
I mean, everybody can get on board with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah.
unless you're a Tennessee fan, everybody hates
Everybody
it.
get on
That's
board with
easy,
it.
right? Yeah, that's
I'm excited about next year for the whole is it 16 teams or how many teams? 14 teams?
8 teams. You're way off. I think it's 8.
Oh.
It's 8 or 12.
Oh,
For
we
the
got
playoff.
more than that.
For the playoffs?
Oh, for the
Or
playoffs,
for the
yeah.
SEC?
But I'm
You're
talking about
the
for the
SEC.
SEC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you meant playoffs, yeah.
So it's
I
going to
think
be
14, I think, right?
Yeah, it's 14.
It's crazy.
Texas and
It's going to be
Oklahoma.
like the whole bottom of the United States before it's over.
But I hate though. I was born in West Virginia, grew up in Maryland, and I always a West Virginia fan. But the
Is that Rich Rod? Was that Rich Rod Reagan?
yes, later, yes, almost here, right? How
Yep.
close, so the story is. But all the conferences used to, like, it meant something. Like Southeast meant Southeast.
Yeah, yeah.
It did.
Atlantic Coast meant
where it
Atlantic
was.
Coast.
Yeah.
And now it's just like kind of like,
Right.
let's grab you, let's grab you, let's grab you.
Big Tens from coast to coast.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
right?
Sure, like,
so,
Southeastern, we got Texas A&M.
right.
That's like middle U.S.
Yeah.
Right. So it's neat. I also wonder, conference realignment and stuff. Like, doesn't Big Ten have 12 or 14 teams now?
16
Is it
now.
like what?
Yeah.
Wow.
They picked up USC and
Yeah.
What does
right,
it
yeah.
even mean?
Yeah, what's it
right?
mean? Yeah.
and it's still the
so-
Big Ten.
Yeah, right. Crazy.
Speaking of SEC, you think Alabama's going to pull it out this week?
Man, I hope so.
I know you're an Auburn fan.
Yeah,
but
But let me say this: I've never been like one of those haters. I never
yeah.
understood that.
Yeah.
No, that's if Auburn had to lose, I'm glad it was to Alabama,
Yeah.
and I will be all on board. Absolutely, Bama. Oh yeah.
Destroy
For
Georgia.
sure. I hope, man. I hope so. Yeah.
There's so many Bama fans that can't pull for Auburn. I can pull for Auburn every game but one.
Right.
And do most of the time.
Yeah, that's how I am too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially, look, what's funny? I went to school at Auburn. I don't have any relationship with anybody there. I've got relationship with the folks
Yeah,
here.
people
you
here,
know?
yeah.
They're good to us. Mean a lot to our community. Mean a lot to us personally. And it's tough not to pull for those guys.
You probably had some growing up when you were in Auburn, though, right?
Yeah, a little, but I got
You got some good stories. from there
I
that you could tell.
I like he had the
I
horticulture
was-
degree, so he probably saw the cows. I always tell my buddy that when we went to Auburn, first time I've been there,
Yeah.
we went tailgating in the trailer park. And he's like, hey, this is my buddy so and so. He told me like, hey, he's multimillionaire. He invited us. Hey, nice to meet you. Where's the cows? And he's like, what the hell? I was like,
That's where the good shrooms are.
It's so funny. Yeah, no, because I started a little later. I went in the Marines after high school, so I was 21. I'm 21, turning 22 when I went to Auburn. So, but yeah,
Awesome.
it was a good time, man. I really think being an ag school, I really think that it if you think about the best of agriculture and farmers and stuff, and small town kind of values and stuff, and those people coming together as a group,
Absolutely.
I just really think it's a very welcoming environment for sure. Here I was from Maryland, knew almost no one in Auburn. I didn't know what an Auburn was. I followed my girlfriend there. And after I got out of the Marines, and literally, in high school, everybody knew Alabama. I didn't know what is in Auburn. Okay, well, what is that? All right, and there I am in school, but always very welcoming, and I really assigned it to that agricultural kind of the background of the people, by and large, and they're coming together and just kind of sense of community.
and they do
So it
have a
was
beautiful
nice.
campus and everything.
Yeah.
No, it is.
We hate on them a lot, but it is a beautiful school.
And for hospitality, they've
Oh, yeah,
got
absolutely.
the breweries. They've
They've
got it going on.
You're right. I just learned that.
Yeah.
That they've turned on like that hospitality school. There may be
huge.
something in the United States and something in Europe. Like they're supposed to be in the top few in the world.
They are.
Awesome.
They really
Yeah,
are.
which is meaningful to both of y'all.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
know Sessions just recently opened down there. Shout out to
Yeah.
Sessions, and they're doing well. so
Yeah,
that's
Hunter's
really cool.
great, right?
Oh yeah, Hunter's a cool dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Wiggins are good people for sure. Yeah.
What would you rate these 1 through 4? What do you think, Matt?
This would be 1.
So number 4.
Number 4 would be that one.
at the last place.
Yeah. For me, at least.
I'm 100%. I look, and it's not even tough for me. I got 1, 2, 3, 4.
3, 4. About the same.
Exact same.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Exact
That's not
same.
tough.
All right, so let's see. You'll both pick. This is actually number one for both of y'all. It's the Old Forester single barrel,
Love it.
130 proof.
Oh.
So
It's a
that's
smooth
that's
130.
130. So it's similar. Pick up that Rashawn's bottle. So instead of the black label, it's a blue label, like a navy blue label.
Okay.
So this is Rashawn from Home Package Store up the street. That's a single barrel 100 proof pick. This one is a single barrel 130 proof pick. So if you ever see an Old Forester blue label, that's what this one is.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite ones.
Oh, that's great.
So this is a single 100.
Single 100 proof.
And this
Then-
is
This
a
is a
great.
single 130.
Yeah, so the blue label single barrel, it varies in proof depending on the barrel, but it's usually around 130 range.
Gotcha.
It's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
So with the 100 proof that Rashawn did, they just proof it down to 100, so every bottle's 100.
You know what's funny?
It's good.
Because to me, and I don't know that I've had any of these Old Foresters,
Yeah.
but the stuff that you can find at the ABC
Yeah, yeah.
stores probably had most of those 4 or 5, whatever. I'm not typically a fan, and it's across the spectrum. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
like the
Yeah,
1897 or the
Yeah, yeah,
1910 or whatever. It's just don't really care for them broadly.
Yeah.
So the fact that this was, that's good.
It's really
Fine.
good. I'll show you a picture before
Yeah.
you leave so you can look out for it if you ever see one.
Now, the 1920 is one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's a good one
I
as well.
love the 1920.
Which one did y'all say was number 2 pick?
Was it number one? Was
Number
his
one,
first
yeah,
one?
Yeah.
That was actually Buffalo Trace.
Okay.
Buffalo
okay.
Trace number 1. Just standard, your standard Buffalo Trace.
Okay.
And then your number 3rd pick, that is a Maker's Mark, but it's the Tuscaloosa Maker's Mark.
Okay.
They did a thing called like a bourbon trail at the ABC store. It
Yeah.
had like Fairhope, Pelham, Tuscaloosa. So this is a Tuscaloosa version of it.
Okay. That was. What do you know? What proof that is?
I do not. I didn't write it on there. I wasn't smart enough to write that much
Yeah,
information.
yeah.
I can look it up. I want to say it's 124, maybe something in
Okay.
that wheelhouse.
Yeah. It was. So it was higher.
Yeah, a
proof.
little higher. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the last one is actually Jack Daniel's, but it's finished in an Yeho tequila barrel. It's one of their like experimental bottles I bought when I was at the distillery.
I wonder if that tequila is that. I know you're the tequila guy. Do you think that did that add that?
It adds a
Ethanol
little
kind of-
ethanol sweet taste. Let's
Okay.
see. Give you another little.
You're going to give me more of the one I didn't like the most.
Yeah, because when you taste it
He's
again,
got to get
I
rid
said-
of it.
No, I love it. I love it. I said it grew on. I didn't like it at first, but it grew on me though.
He's sharing a special stash. Yeah.
It grew on me.
Hey, I appreciate that.
Yeah, it
'Cause
grew-
I
it
know
grew-
that
it grew on
game.
me.
Yeah.
So they take their Jack and they said they have they just came out with a sherry cask one. They do like little experimental bottles, like
Yeah.
375 milliliters. They sell them at the gift shop in the distillery. They
It's not as bad now.
Yeah. I agree completely.
It grows on you. I didn't like it at first. I was upset because I bought like 4 bottles.
Yeah.
But then it grew on me.
And I don't know if it's because I finished all these.
It's like this is terrible. Well,
I'm sure it's the same. It doesn't even taste the same.
It grows on you.
It does. There's no question.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I picked some you probably never had before, besides Buffalo Trace. But
I'm glad I didn't pick Buffalo Trace as my favorite. I really am.
The Heaven Hill line.
that's a good one too.
Just across the board. I just
and
think
the
they did a
Heaven
great
Hill,
job.
the bottled in bond.
Yes.
In January, that's going to be on the shelf at all the ABCs. They're taking it off
It
an
needs to
allocation.
be.
Oh, the Heaven
Yeah,
Hill bottle.
yeah.
Okay, I was thinking of the Evan bottle and bond. You mean the Heaven Hill bottle?
Heaven Hill,
bond.
yeah.
Okay.
So they're taking it. It's usually an allocated one once a month or
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
So they're taking it off. It's going to be a shelfer now. That's a really good one.
Yeah, that's great. I've got an unopened bottle in my pantry. As a matter
There you
of
go.
fact.
Now you
Yeah.
can drink it because January you
Yeah,
can get some more.
yeah. I like, but I shared with Matt that list, before. I mean, I think a lot of it's an interesting thing to me with, I'm going to say bourbon, but I mean broadly, these
Yeah.
American whiskeys.
Right.
When I remember, used to live in Mallard Creek, and me and a couple of my buddies get together and have drinks and stuff, and it's like, oh, this is good. Well, and it's like, what are we buying and
Yeah,
why? It's like,
yeah.
well, it's got to cost this much or it's no good,
Yeah.
And then we did a couple blind taste tests, and next thing you know, it's like you can't tell. So frequently, price and like or dislike
Yep.
don't have any correlation there.
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
And I find out, well, heck, this $18, 17.83 is good to go.
Yeah,
you know,
it
I
really is.
dig it, man.
That's what's cool about blind tasting.
Yeah.
Like I was telling you, me and my buddy Todd did one this past weekend. So I have a little sample bottle this big of Pappy 23.
Okay.
Like just that little bottle is probably worth $400 or $500.
Yeah.
So I gave him a little pour of it. He's like, "This tastes like shit. I don't like it." He's like, "It's so oaky."
But it was
like,
so. Yeah.
He's like, "I don't like this. What is it?" I showed him. He's like, "Really?"
Yeah.
Like he was blown away because if I would have told him what it was,
Yeah.
I think that placebo effect. You're like, "Oh, this
He'd
is
been like,
this is so good. This is the best one I ever had."
It's amazing, Pappy. Yeah.
But you got to think, 23 years in a barrel. I mean, it's going to
a lot.
be okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to have some flavor.
Like it tastes good, but it does
I've never tasted that, so or anything that old.
It does have a lot of oak in it.
What does, because I've got a George Dickel 15, and it's funny to me too, as a completely separate thing, is the age, and I think until the great bourbon craze, it was normal for bourbons to be 10 years old.
Oh yeah,
for
yeah,
instance,
absolutely.
and still cost $25.
Yes.
But once the craze kicks in,
It
then
was
you've got a
insane.
bunch of suburbanite people, neophytes
Absolutely.
like me, looking like 10 years. That's a really long time. That's
Yeah,
got to
yeah.
be worth $70. That's crazy.
That's what one of my reps, Richard,
You're
sent me
like-
a
you're like- it's like
ABC price list. I had Weller Old Antique
yeah.
on closeout for $19. They were trying to get rid of
Right.
it.
Yeah,
this
back
was
in the
like
day.
this was like 2001, 2002,
Yeah.
like not that long ago.
Right.
They're like, we need to get. Nobody's buying this crap.
Yeah.
Now it's worth. You can buy it for I think $49 a bottle, and it's worth 200 plus on secondary.
Right. It's
It was
crazy.
on closeout, and they had Pappy 15 for $99.
Yeah, right.
That's worth like 1,500.
Right. Their premier,
Yeah, yeah.
stuff. Right.
And a lot of that has to do with the Japanese market because they, like you said, the bourbon craze, the Japanese picked up on it.
Yeah.
Then it just started booming. Then it came back to America. Now we're like, hey, you got to get this. These are all the big names you got to get. Everybody wants to get them.
How long do you think this will last? You think it's like here to stay?
I think it's here to stay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff like you mentioned earlier, like Buffalo Trace, it's easier to get now
Right.
because it's just more.
Especially if you're not in Alabama.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get it.
Oh, yeah, you can
Florida,
get anything.
you can
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah, they got all kind of stuff there.
It's crazy.
And I don't
State
understand that.
lines
It is
make a difference.
big difference.
It
Yeah,
is
it's
crazy.
unbelievable. But I remember, where Jim and Nick's is. Remember when the ABC store used to be over
Yep.
there?
Yep.
I know anything. I walked in, when it existed 10 years ago, whatever. Walked in, and I remember in particular seeing Blanton's, like bottles deep,
And
on the-
nobody wanted it.
dusty horses
yeah.
on the
Are you
top. Like I saw dust.
Nobody wanted
right?
it.
Now, the $55 stuff sells for
Yeah.
probably a couple hundred,
Yeah,
150,
easily.
200.
Yeah, yeah.
It's crazy.
Nobody wanted it.
Yeah, it's I
Just-
don't. It
And that's
is.
one thing talking about tequila. Tequila's kind of hitting a boom now too.
Okay.
People are getting more and more in tequila. In January we'll have you on. We'll do a tequila blind.
Yeah, we need to do that. Look, because if you can cure my high school, I'm
Absolutely.
I'm going to be a little TMI here, if that's okay. I got kicked out of high school, which is funny. So I can kind of, have a lot of appreciation of people and hardships and stuff. And
I can relate to that.
I said kicked out. Without telling my parents, without the school telling my parents, I was told I was only allowed during my senior year to be on school property for the first half of the day, which they had figured how many credits I needed to graduate barely. They were not. They did not want me there, but they also did. My mom's she's 77. She's still angry with the school for they didn't tell me you weren't in school, right? Like
A sweet boy.
Yeah, right. Yeah. She didn't think that either, but, and it's certainly, this is just us having fun, and it's not to, think it's a neat thing or anything.
Yeah.
But I did, I told people I threw up more alcohol in high school, than most people drink in a lifetime.
What was the first thing you drank?
I heard that question, and I honestly,
I think it's a great question.
This is going to sound terrible, but it was. I think we had a beer out of someone's grandparents' refrigerator. But the first, that was probably like in 8th grade or something. Like you sneak a beer, or whatever. But the first, I was in high school, and someone had a bottle of Crown Royal, and I was in the back seat and drank more Crown Royal than any first-time drinker should drink.
Too much.
Yeah, for sure. And again, look, we're having fun, but it's it's not like I'm not recommending this.
Yeah,
obviously.
absolutely. Yeah.
But man, so we wound up. I heard y'all talking before about Jack Daniels and stuff, and that was just whatever. We grew up in Maryland, we'd drive down to D.C. They didn't card. You got 17-year-olds, and we're in there getting plastic gallons of vodka.
The good stuff
for $6 or $7. It's ridiculous. But in that, I think there are a couple of things. You can kind of overcome anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is
Absolutely.
which is a good story, kind of redemption.
Mm-hmm. Yep, definitely.
But also it was a real blessing to come through that without more significant problems. Because a lot of people,
Especially now in your
wind up
profession,
and-
you see all that now.
yeah, it's terrible,
Yeah.
right? So it's funny for us to talk about now, 30, 40 years later. But it was serious business. So.
Yeah, I think my first drink of alcohol, believe it or not, I was 21. That was
Really?
the first time I drank alcohol, and it was a beer.
Really?
That is hard to believe.
I got caught smoking weed when I was 13, but
I was going to say.
that was a different story.
Let me say this: and here I'm talking about all the drinking in high school. I have never any illegal substance other than drinking underage. Never anything. So that's something I'm pleased about. Also,
That is.
And it's talking about our job and stuff. It's an interesting thing from the office's perspective, because we're really big on. I don't ever want to damn anyone. We can damn actions, and we can say there are consequences. Trying to help somebody to me doesn't mean there are no consequences to your
Yeah.
bad
Oh, yeah.
actions. But what it means is once the consequences have been, paid, suffered, gone through, whatever. We're all about redemption.
Yeah.
We want people who've been on the outside to be on the inside. We want them to achieve. We want them to be able to be. It's better for them. It's better for us.
Absolutely.
Right? There's no
Better for
downside.
society.
Yeah.
Yeah, it helps people later on.
Absolutely, it's all good for everyone when anyone achieves.
Absolutely.
Right? So that's we're big on redemption. I kind of feel like I said myself, that getting kicked out of high school and
Yeah, absolutely.
all the alcohol and stuff, and so it's good.
What do you think
Yeah.
about the the whole a lot of documentaries like people having a little bit of weed on them, a little bit of this, and they're 15 years in prison and stuff like that. The crazy laws that are now kind of switching with the whole culture of the United States moving along.
Yeah, I got a couple thoughts. I think that there's a whole lot of. I don't think people enter into that as far as the journalists, to the extent they're journalists, without they're trying to make a point.
Yeah.
And a whole lot of time I disagree with their basic facts or their presentation. I just don't think it's accurate.
Yeah.
It's over in our state, we've got 84+% of people in prison are there for violent crimes.
Yeah.
And essentially all the rest are going to be there because they're significant repeat offenders. This is
it's
not
completely different.
You're not going to
Yeah.
find someone had marijuana, is in prison for the rest of his life.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
third time he possessed marijuana. He's
Yeah.
in life without. It's untrue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's usually
Okay.
something else
It's
along with it.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
positively.
Yeah.
It is untrue. But at the same time, if somebody could figure out how to deal with the drug problem, and I do think it's a drug problem. When people are out of their wits,
Yes.
Yeah.
we have people moving to Colorado so they can get high, right?
Yeah.
That's a strange thing when it so motivates you
Yeah.
Yep.
that I want to move
Yeah.
so I can get high. I don't.
You'll
want
get a
that person-
college degree. You'll move out there first, and then you'll find a job.
I know,
find a
right?
job.
Not because hey, I like to hike and bike and kayak and hunt. It's because I want to get high.
Yeah.
But I also you all saw I'm all happy. I went to Oregon whitewater rafting for
Yeah.
a week in
Nice.
October. It was great. Yeah.
And you're a big outdoorsman.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
a big
love it,
biker.
man. Biker, bike, hunt, kayaking, love it all. So it's really good. But I was out there, and it's beautiful scenery, But this is a separate, never mind the effect on a person and how bad it is and that sort of thing. Because I do think that it is bad for people. But legalized marijuana in Oregon, and I'm not talking about someone smoking their joints or whatever on the street and you smell the burn. I mean, driving from California, where it's not legal to grow, as I understand it, back into Oregon, and you cross into a pot farm, drive by it, the smell is unbelievable stench. It is just like, and I'm thinking, we were in downtown Medford in Oregon. You just like go outside. And I'm like, who wants to raise their kid?
Yeah. You could smell that just everywhere, the whole city.
And again, it's not like just the burn. This is from the growing.
Yeah, from the plants.
The plants, whatever the odor is that comes from them is so strong. It redoubled my dislike of it.
Yeah. You think it'll move that way in Alabama with the medicinal stuff changing and all the laws that they're working on?
Look, I'm no scientist, but it seems to me if you can get it from smoking it, you can probably get it from taking it a pill or something too. I mean, it does seem like it's all an effort just to get it legalized over time. Yeah. And I think that people should really stand back. We've got examples around the world and around the nation of countries that have done that sort of thing, and say, hey, at least when we make a decision, let it be a thoughtful, knowledgeable decision. And
you think the time will come here in Alabama when we're like in Oregon, or you think we're way far behind, or
Colorado when people are like, I'm moving to Alabama?
That's right, because I want to get away from it. It's funny. I
want to smoke weed and watch the tide.
I was walking around the neighborhood last night, and someone, you can't tell which house it's coming from, but someone's smoking dope, and I was just like, I was talking about homeowner like covenants and stuff. It's like, I'd like to live in a neighborhood where, because thinking about what you're saying, Justin, this. Like eventually, is it kind of everywhere? And then heck, now I want to get away from. I don't want to have to smell that. I can't imagine many people thinking, "Wow, that's a really good smell." People who like to smoke cigarettes don't necessarily like cigarette smell.
Yeah,
right.
And even driving around Tuscaloosa, you can smell it.
Yeah,
we did the other day. It was actually
like Farland Boulevard.
Yeah,
I mean it's crazy.
On 359, we were driving, and my wife was like, I smell weed, and my daughter in the back, she's 10. She's like, it's gross.
Right.
You would think I was smoking it in the car.
And you were smoking, were you? Were you?
No.
No. It was so strong though, going 55 down 359. It smelled like I was smoking in the car.
You get a little contact buzz.
Yeah. It's terrible.
Dude, McFarland's like that. I mean, I swear, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how people are.
But you got so many kids from the university, from states where it is legal.
Right. And and you know what? I mean, I'm not excusing it, but it really does send mixed message.
Yes.
And I do understand how people could come here from other places, especially if you've grown up where it's normal legal, not normal like illegal, but we all do it, but like normal legal.
Yeah.
And you move here, you're like, hey, I can't do what? It's like us moving someplace saying you can't drink, and like what?
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
That's why I always tell the story. Like when I went to I was born in Alabama, went to ACA. Went to UA, and they have a class, 100 people. Like, where are you from? I'm from Northport. You're from here? Really?
Yeah.
I was like the only person in 100 people from Northport. I'm like, I feel weird. Like you're saying, people coming from Oregon, they're like,
right.
You can't do this here? Really? Like,
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. In a college town, you had that such diversity. When I felt like the outcast when I was from here.
Right.
That is crazy.
You live in Northport now?
Yes, sir.
Whereabouts?
In Bristol Park.
Is that the
That's
one
on
behind?
Midlary Road.
Okay. Just before Publix.
Yes, sir. Right. It's called Publix Bristol Park, and it's right there next door to it.
Yes. Yeah, it's a great neighborhood.
Great neighborhood.
My buddy, Ron Bolton, lives in there with you. And
okay, yeah, I know Ron. Yes, sir.
Mike Doherty. Yeah, I got a bunch of pals in there.
I know Ron.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had Mike. I remember Mike walking around the neighborhood with some political signs. When he was running for something.
Yeah.
So when's re-election?
2028.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You're good.
Yeah, you can come back on before then.
We can pour another drink.
Yeah, look, that's good. I'll drink to that for sure.
I like Ron. He's a good guy.
He's a good man.
He is a good dude.
Yeah,
I like Ron.
We're lucky to have him as state representative for sure.
I do want you to try this if you got a chance. Have you tried the Redwood Empire?
No, let's do it.
I don't even think they sell this one in the state because you got that.
They not? Yeah,
I got
did
the
get this
different
in
version.
Florida.
It was on what you
And
had.
we did a review of it. Yes, sir.
With Mayor Maddox, y'all
Yes.
had Redwood.
Yeah, we let him try it. I think.
Yeah, let me try it.
It is really, really good. Pour me a little too, Matt.
Yeah, please.
So they have some Redwood at ABC, but it's a different version. This is the rye version. They have the straight whiskey version, I believe, at ABC. It's out of Northern California. So we did a review on this one and posted it this morning, yesterday.
Yeah.
And they actually gave us a shout out from Northern California.
Is that right? How cool is that?
It was pretty
man?
cool. It was cool.
And to catch up with y'all from California here.
It was pretty cool.
Tuscaloosa, Northport, good.
That was really good.
That's good.
I mean, is it not? It really is. It's one of my favorite.
It doesn't taste like a rye, but it's good.
That's hard to believe. That's a rye.
It is. Gosh. I think it's a blend. What's it say on the back? I think it's a blend.
It is a blend between rye and
blend of different ryes or something, isn't it?
Let's see. It's a blend of straight rye and straight bourbon whiskeys, aged at least 3 years
in Northern California.
What proof? Seems like an 80.
90.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. They've done a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. How'd y'all stumble on that?
Matt got it from his son-in-law.
Yeah, I was in Florida in Jacksonville visiting.
Okay.
And my son-in-law, he's like, we went to the liquor stores, and they had Buffalo Trace, like, by the shelf.
Yeah.
I mean, you get whatever you want.
Yeah.
And they had that behind the counter. He's like, I want you to try that. So I bought it and been very happy.
Yeah, that's
good. Really good.
It's got a nice little bite, but not too much.
They have I want to say it's a Blue Label, maybe, ABC store. It doesn't have a rye, it's just straight whiskey. Mm-hmm. It's also pretty good. Around the $50 price point, I think it was. Something like that.
Yeah.
It's really good. That's probably one of my favorites lately.
I don't know what we need to do to change the laws to get more bourbon in Alabama.
Just give it up.
Go to Mississippi and Florida and Georgia.
Yeah.
Is that law driven in any sense, or is it just the demand here in the state?
It's law.
Is it really?
Just like right behind Rashawn's our Don Julio pick right there.
Yeah.
It's 750 milliliters. So me and Giovanni picked a whole barrel, brought it into the state. We got our jalapeno sticker on it. It was just for us.
Yeah.
They recently just changed the law. I found out that us as a restaurant can only sell 375 milliliters. We can't sell that 750 anymore. So luckily,
because it competes against the liquor stores and the ABC.
Luckily, we only got about 5 or 6 bottles left, so it doesn't affect our bottom end.
Yeah.
But like we had 2 or 3 next year planned.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah, that's
it's
terrible.
A legislative thing because I talked to Montgomery this morning. They said like it's not us, it's legislative changed it.
Yeah.
So like that sucks.
So Don Julio won't do it 375 or
no, because like we got 246 bottles. So for them, if they did a 375, it'd be 500 bottles.
Right.
So that's more money for them.
Cost you more.
Cost more and everything else.
Yeah, that's.
So it's a lot to do with the controlled state stuff. And I always give Montgomery, Brian Gilbo, he's a good dude. I give him a hard time. I went to Mississippi and there's 75 tequilas we don't have.
Right. And that's appointed, right? The ABC?
It is, yeah.
So I started and didn't finish a while ago. I'm glad you brought up tequila again. That was my we talked about first drink. Mm-hmm. It was not tequila.
Oh yeah,
for
we
sure.
were talking about, yeah.
I think and it may have been Mayor Maddox that said something about Mad Dog. I was a Mad Dog fiend. That's and for someone who was as familiar with alcohol as I became, at a relatively young age, the only thing that I had such a bad experience with tequila.
Yeah.
That's to this day, 40,
I think a lot of people
40 years later, I'm like, yeah, no mas, man.
Yeah, a lot of people have. That's what we do a tequila experience downtown, a tasting, and have kind of like we did here, but we tell you what the 4 tequilas are.
Right.
And usually people do the Ryan Phillips method. They're like, okay, shoot it. Like, no. Just sip it.
Enjoy it.
Like this is good tequila. It's not Mad Dog. Like you can sip it, taste it, enjoy the flavors because there is shit tequila.
Right.
But there's also very good tequila that you can sip it neat.
Okay.
That's what we'll end you on the Don Julio. Let you try it.
Yeah, we'll need
try to change your opinion on it.
Yeah, let's do it.
It tastes more of a whiskey taste than a crap tequila taste. Because just like with bourbon, whiskey, they're bottom of the barrel stuff that you don't want to taste.
Right.
But there's also really good stuff that you can sip it neat without any mixers.
Yeah.
And really enjoy what they're doing in Mexico and the flavor profile of it.
It smells good.
That's what I always tell people. That's one of my little bullet points on the presentation I do downtown. I was like, put this one. Don't shoot it. Sip it. And I have a little throw up icon like this isn't college stuff. That's what I tell them. This is good sipping stuff.
And if you hadn't did his tequila flights or his tequila tasting, it's amazing. It really is great.
That's smooth, right?
It is.
That's not what you're used to with tequila, right?
No, not at all. It's really good.
That's something. That's neat. No ice, no mixer. You can just sip on it. I think that comes at 80.
If you would have told an 18-year-old Matt to sip this tequila or drink tequila straight,
down it.
I wouldn't have. Yeah.
That's why I start all our tequila experiences like, hey, we got 4 tequilas in front of you.
Yeah.
Don't shoot it. We're going to sip this stuff. We're going to learn
There's no lime. There's no salt.
Yeah, no lime, no salt, nothing. We got a little piece of chocolate, some coffee beans, and a lime at the end.
Yeah.
Tell me about when do you do your tastings?
We do them for private parties.
Oh, okay.
So, like,
okay.
if you have a office Christmas party you need to do, hook us up.
You need to get Hayes in for the next one.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'd like to for sure.
So I always try to change it up, and what I do, I have 4
And it's also paired with food.
Yeah, it's
which
paired
is-
with food.
Yes.
We pair them. Our chef helps us pair them with food. We have 4 different tequilas, and then I have on the TVs. I go through like production, how they make tequila, some information about it, so you get a lot of knowledge about it.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm real passionate with tequila. It's like you just said, tequila, no bueno.
Right.
And you just try this one, you're like, this is actually pretty good.
Yeah, it is good.
It is.
I could drink that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's surprising. Is that ABC stuff then? Is that
We got it through the ABC, but spin it around, Matt.
this is the one
So
that
this,
y'all had your
so
single
this is
barrel.
ours. So you can see.
Okay.
So we got our little label on there, our design. I didn't text you. Tequila did.
Yeah, okay.
So this particular bottle, you can only get at Jalapenos because we did. It's all from a single barrel. So instead of being aged for 8 months, they age it for 10 months. So a little bit
Okay.
longer age.
Yeah.
The master distiller helps us pick it out. It's really good stuff.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. It's funny, a lot of times, like in the whiskeys and stuff, I think the single barrels I actually like less.
They're
Then-
a little stronger proof
Yeah,
sometimes.
you just don't know exactly what you're going to get.
Yeah.
It is.
Even with this Old Forester, the one y'all both liked.
Yeah.
I've got about 6 different bottles at home, and they're all different proofs
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they're different picks.
Right.
So they vary a whole lot.
Yeah.
So you
Some
might
of-
not like the other one.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, because like Four Roses, I really like their small batch. I like it better than their extra small batch, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
certainly better than their single barrel. And
Yeah.
it's the least expensive of,
Yeah,
of
they do
those.
look-
But I like the Four
And we
Roses.
actually have talking about Four Roses, we have
Yeah.
a beer. I hadn't got it yet from Oak Mountain Brewery.
Okay.
They aged some beer in a Four Roses bourbon barrel.
Okay.
It's something they came out with last week.
What is? And I saw that actually. I haven't watched that Boozy Spirits yet,
Mm-hmm.
but I saw Oak Mountain reference. I'm not
Yeah.
even familiar with.
Yeah, in Pelham, they have a whole distillery.
With-
they do
with Oak
They do a
Mountain.
whole line
Yep.
of brewery. It's
Okay.
really good beer.
When did
Yes.
they open?
That I do not know.
I think it's been a while.
You know, I'm familiar with
couple
Oak
years,
people
Yeah.
but I hadn't heard of
They're
Oak
doing
Mountain.
some different stuff. Just like I said with the Four Roses, is like a limited edition pick that came out Thanksgiving week. So we'll probably do that one next week.
Good. I'll come back next week.
And what's funny is the Don Julio, the regular Reposado you can get at ABC, tastes completely different than this one. Because it's a 80 proof Reposado. They proof down, just
Right.
like say Jack Daniels,
Right.
Compared to Jack Daniels single barrel.
Yep.
So this is a single barrel private cast. So all 240 bottles we got came out of the same barrel.
Right.
They didn't mix them up or do nothing different.
What's the proof on that?
84.
Really? They don't.
They don't proof it down. That's what it is.
That's what it is.
So I'm not a tequila buyer,
Mm-hmm.
but if I were ABC store, what do you recommend?
What do I recommend? That's a tough one. I like Dos Primos. This is Thomas Rhett Tequila Blanco. It's really good sipping tequila. Don Julio makes a good product. A lot of people hate on it, but Casamigos. I like Casamigos. George Clooney. That's a good one.
Okay.
Addictivo is probably our biggest seller. It's a real sweet tequila. We don't have any Addictivo here, do we? I need to bring you a bottle.
I don't think so.
That one, me and Gio actually went to Jalisco, went to the distillery for it.
It's probably one of the best tasting tequilas.
You did a show, just audio from Mexico.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Me and Matt. I called Matt when I was down there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are good times.
That's neat stuff, man. I mean, it really is too. And I mean,
There's so many tequilas, and there's rock gut tequilas, of course. Like you said, you grew up drinking when you're young, but there's also really
That was
good
it.
tequilas.
I dipped
Yeah.
in and dipped out. Yeah, that didn't last long.
And the same
Yeah.
thing like we were talking about earlier with the Pappies that are thousands of dollars. There's
Right.
tequilas that are thousands of dollars that aren't as good as just $30 tequila.
Right. I don't, what do you think about spirits broadly? As you are a reseller of
Mm-hmm.
also. I mean, because there is stuff that is, and I understand it's more limited.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take it from something that you can have a 4-year $22
Yeah.
10-year, $26, $28, and here's 15 years. Oh, well, that's $1,000 or $2,000.
Yeah.
What is? I can't.
Well, of course, like the evaporation rate, because you might have a whole barrel full, and in 15 years you only have 20% less, so it costs more because there's less of it. But it doesn't necessarily make it better. There's some that are really, really good, and some that are just you could pass on it.
That Dickel I've got is actually because there's an 8-year bourbon I think is very good. And there's a 9-year, and I can't remember, it's like a small batch or single barrel, but then the 15 year is a single barrel.
Yeah,
and I actually like the 9 better than the 15.
That is a good one.
Yeah. But it's funny, you know. I mean, it's 9 years old, right?
Yeah.
For I don't know, $59.
And that's still old.
Right. But it's $59, not $500.
Exactly.
You know,
I'm gonna throw you an audible here, Matt. I gotta go take a piss. I've been holding it for like 30 minutes.
It's like Justin's ready. Cut.
Well, I know Hayes has got to go at some point. Are you good?
Look, I'm gonna wear y'all out.
Okay.
No, I'm good, man.
Is there anything up here that you would like to taste?
I've got
anything you see.
I got that Taylor.
And if it's not open, I can promise you we'll open it.
Yeah, no. You know what I'd like to try? I think that the Wild Turkey Rare Breed. My brother bought me the rye.
Yeah.
And it was really good. I'd like to try that. But this is a bourbon.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So Justin didn't like this, so he brought it up here. The stuff he didn't like, he brings up. All my good stuff is up here. The stuff he doesn't like, he brings here.
Yeah.
I love this stuff.
Yeah. I thought it was really good. Yeah. I think it was like 120 proof or something. But it was really smooth. You know, it was really.
Yeah.
Maybe been a 112, but it was definitely over 100. But you know, one of the things that I really like also is the ability to have alcohol. It's in our office. Mm-hmm. What I want our lawyers, what I want us to be known for is thoughtful prosecution. Right?
Exactly.
And it's not. We talked earlier about don't hate the person, hate the act, right? And we can be thoughtful in what we're doing and trying to always really focusing on public safety, right? But we don't have to hate the person. Hate the bad thing, and then the person can be redeemed. And here, it's these subtleties and nuances. Mm-hmm. You think about alcohol. There's no question. There are all sorts of things, bad things people have done from drinking, you know, and ruined lots of families, et cetera.
Yep.
But it doesn't have to be.
It
right?
doesn't.
You can have a drink of alcohol without being a lush, without failing your family, without failing in your job, you know, and that I really think
you can run a business based on alcohol,
right?
And a lot of people do in this country.
And it's not a failure. You can enjoy in moderation, and it's that sense of thoughtfulness, of subtlety, of nuance.
Yeah.
And if people hate alcohol or people who drink alcohol, that's fine, but you don't have to. It's not a black white. It is, hey, you know what, alcohol is fine. Just don't drink to excess.
Exactly.
And if you drink to excess, then there's a consequence, and that's fine. I say have a consequence, but
luckily you can call an Uber now.
Yeah,
where you couldn't.
That's true.
You couldn't back in the day. And you're not going to call your parents.
Look. I have it in my phone just because.
Yes.
As an in case.
Yes.
Yeah, because I don't want to be outlandish and not thoughtful about what I'm doing.
Yep.
You know, but I also want to do my best to be responsible. I mean, heck, at the end of the day, goodness, we are prosecuting people. I sure don't want to be engaged in behavior that other people are prosecuted for.
Exactly.
I mean, that's a bad thing. It's not fine because it's
exactly.
You know,
that's one argument I always tell people, like the legalization of cannabis. A lot of people tell me they're completely against it. Like, oh, you don't have people smoking weed, driving their cars, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, they do that anyway, one. Two, like you said, with alcohol. Like, we've all had a few drinks, but we're not sitting here just pounding shots back to back and can't walk.
Right.
Like, same thing with cannabis. If it was legal, I wouldn't sit here, ripping 5 bongs, drinking stuff, and we can't walk, and we're going to go, let's go drive. Like,
I will not do that show. Justin, I will
probably would.
And listen, I'm not going to do that show with you. which do you prefer?
Yeah. But it's the same thing. Like, if I poured you a whole glass of 4 different ones, like,
Right.
you're not going to leave here driving when you just had 20 ounces of pure bourbon.
That's right.
It's anything.
Just being smart.
You have to do it in moderation
Absolutely.
and responsibly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm glad you like my picks I got there. A little different stuff.
So what's the one that's still got some in it?
That's the Buffalo Trace.
You know where that's going.
Yeah. I know where it's
That's a payment for Hayes to come on. You take it with him.
There you go. Do you like Buffalo Trace? Do you like the Sazerac brand? Do you drink any of those?
We
Yeah,
did
I've
mention
got-
the Buffalo Trace when we first started.
So I've got, and it was funny because the ABC store used to have their allocated, would come in like on Tuesday morning, I think, like at 10 o'clock.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, who wants Taylor? I still
Yeah.
have Taylor, Stag, different things. But it got so much. I really think I've developed my own thought, about this, that you've got Buffalo Trace and Pappy. And so backwards from Pappy, other than Benchmark and the plastic jugs, everything else is desirable. They make Pappy, so it's got to be good.
Yeah.
And if it's that good, I've got to have it. And I'm going to pay 3 times,
Yeah,
5
tons of money.
times
A whole lot.
for it. And I do think it's good. We've had blind testings and tastings, and I did think Blanton's was very good blind.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there are all sorts of good
Absolutely.
good bourbons
There's
out
so
there.
many. That's what when I first got into it, me and my buddy, Blanton's was like, we have to get Blanton's. It's got the horse on top. You got to get Blanton's. I don't even like it anymore.
Yeah.
Because I've tried all these other different bourbons. You're like, there's so many good bourbons out there.
Right.
That it doesn't have to be the name.
But the Ancient Age it's decent bourbon.
Decent.
I mean, it's
$13.
Yes,
Right?
I mean it's crazy, and
I don't
it's
know,
good.
You're right. I mean, and it's funny because this stuff was, if you kind of look into the history of this stuff, I mean, you'd have 10-year-old bourbons for $22.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
And
I miss
and
those
you
days.
couldn't sell them at $22
Yeah.
like you were
Yep.
talking about,
Yeah.
right? But you have this market, right? Pappy. Like, I don't even understand. Pappy. Okay, good. I mean, I'm sure it's good. And I do think that what's interesting are the Buffalo Trace products. Eagle Rare is one of my least favorites. It's
I
an
agree with you.
outlier.
I agree
Yeah.
with you.
I just don't care for it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But the other Buffalo
That's why
Trace,
that one's unopened.
but the other Buffalo Trace products tend to like.
Yeah.
But the McKenna, the Henry, the Heaven's Hill,
Yes.
those I think are very good across the spectrum.
Yep.
Tend to be inexpensive. Evan Williams, Bottle and Bond, all sorts
Yeah.
of different things. I think are very good.
That's what
You know?
I need to send it to you. There's a really good podcast. It's called Criminal. You ever heard of that podcast?
I have not.
They do all kind of criminals, but one was about Pappy actually. That how allocated it is, hard to
Right.
get. So one
Right.
bar owner, I want to say it was in Kentucky, he said, if I ever get a damn bottle, I'm gonna make Jello shots.
no.
He got a bottle.
Yeah.
He made Jello shots for $3. He got death threats. People threw bricks in his windows because you're making Jello shots out of Pappy.
It's
He's
his
like-
Pappy.
He's like, I don't care.
Let the
like,
man do
he's
what
like,
he
I want,
Right.
Matt's never had it. Here, $3. I'm not going to charge $100 for it.
Right, it's a $70 bottle
Yeah.
of whiskey.
Yeah.
Right, but the collectors. You
Yeah.
know what's so funny to me is a lot of times I think that the people who are, I wouldn't drink that Evan Williams. If you blind
Oh yeah.
tested them,
wouldn't
they
know.
wouldn't
Wouldn't know the
have
difference.
a
Absolutely.
clue.
Absolutely.
They wouldn't have a clue.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's what's fun about doing the blind tasting. Like I said to my buddy, Pappy 23, like the
Yeah.
top dog. I want to say that bottle goes for $6,000 on secondary. And I just had a little sample of it.
Yeah.
He hated it.
Yeah.
Hated it.
Right.
And like-
Over oaked.
Yeah,
Right.
it blew his mind because he's
Right.
like, "There's no way." I'm like,
Right.
"Yeah, that's why I just poured you."
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what on Fridays we always hang out. I was like, I got all kind of different stuff at home. Like instead of just drinking, let's do some blind stuff.
Right.
I'll go in another room, just pour me something. Go tequila, gin, bourbon, rum, vodka. What? Just pour me something. Let's see if I like it or
That's
not.
fun.
It's fun to do.
Yeah.
That's what this is actually the first blind tasting we've done on the podcast.
It is.
Oh, is that right?
It is.
Oh, good.
You're our virgin blonde.
I think we need to start doing it more. It's
I
fun.
agree. It is fun.
I like knowing what it is and let y'all try it and see if you like it or not.
I want you because you're the bourbon snob. I want to blind taste your ass next time.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
I might piss in a bottle. I'm just saying.
But this is the best one I've ever had.
And I want to know the flavor profile of that.
It's my favorite.
my favorite.
So good. Yeah.
But it really does make
It's a
difference.
little warm.
Matt 2023.
Like, if we would sit there like that, Jack Daniels, Buffalo Trace, Eagle Rare, and Pappy 23. You might have had a totally like
Right.
this Pappy. This is the best thing I ever had.
But how funny that we were, blind, spot on.
Yeah, spot on together,
Same. Yeah.
And I kind of threw a wrench in there with that Jack Daniels and Yeho because you can't buy it. It's I think it's over now. They just did a little experimental, completely different. But
There's probably a reason you can't buy it.
no, they changed it though. Like I have one that's made with Jamaican allspice, which is gross.
Yeah.
I have one that's in a red wine barrel, which is
But it's all
different.
personal preference. I
Yeah.
mean, if you like that spicy taste.
Right.
So that's just something at the distillery they make. These little 375. They try different stuff to see if anything's going to be a hit, and they come out. I think, like I said today, they just came out with a sherry cask. So if you go up to Tennessee, you can get a bottle of the sherry cask, and it's going to be different than anything else you've tried.
Yeah.
So we're going in January to get a
February
to get a Jack Daniels barrel pick.
Rashawn from Home Package Store, he's doing
Okay.
a barrel pick, and he invited me and Matt to go with
That's
him.
awesome.
So you'll be.
Yeah.
We'll bring you a bottle back.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's fun, right? I mean, it's like
It
is.
craft. It's a creation.
Yeah,
It's
It
how
is.
And you're
unique-
selecting what 200 and something bottles are going to be.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And
it's
like barrel by barrel is different.
It's like going to Kentucky and you see all this American-made
Exactly. That's a good
art.
It is.
And it's what you're dealing with. I mean, this is
Yeah,
American
it is art.
history, right?
Like
It's-
somebody at
it's
Kentucky
history
might
and
have
art.
some pottery. Everyone's a little bit different. It might be
Right.
the same color, same design, but a little different. That's how
Yeah.
the single barrel stuff
Yeah,
is.
I love it, man. It's
It
so
is.
tied in, intertwined with American history. I
It
think
is
it's
really
good
neat.
stuff.
Yeah, I think it's really good.
Well, I appreciate you coming on with us. I had a
Thanks for
great
having
time.
me. I love it, man. That's good. Yeah.
I'll have you a monthly guest.
I'm wondering when I get to come back.
You name it. We're here.
Yeah, look, I love it, man. Yeah,
we'll get you and Ron together, maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
Do it. You
That
know,
would-
All in
dude,
order.
that would be a freaking show.
Look,
put a bug in his ear.
you know what's funny though? You have him back. I'll just sit here quietly. I'll just drink and he'll talk. But that's my buddy. I do want to say this, and I've bragged about our local law enforcement for sure. Amongst them, absolutely, is Ron Abernathy.
Yes.
I did not know any of these people, before I was in this office, and he is the real deal. Good to go.
Oh, it's good, dude.
If I saw people who behind closed doors were saying different things than they say publicly, it would be unappealing to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would dislike it. I'd be bothered. He is.
He's the real deal.
He is the real deal. He's my pal for sure. So yeah, we'll come back. I'm gonna look.
And
when
you
he
are
comes
too,
on,
though.
I'm coming back with him. Okay?
That'll be fun.
So yeah, I'll just sit here quietly, but because I won't be able to,
won't
keep
get a
up,
word in.
but yeah. I'll
That would-
drink while he's over here talking.
That would be
But,
fun.
Yeah.
We've been talking to some of his buddies trying to get him to come over here, so maybe you can put a bug in his ear for him.
I'll get him tonight. Yeah. We'll see. Look, we'll be back in 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah.
First of the year, come on.
Yeah.
And we're actually going in week after next. We're going to Bama Shines. It's in Bolagie, Alabama.
Okay.
A moonshine operation.
Really?
They have white and charred.
Okay.
It's really phenomenal for
And we
moonshine.
drank it, and it seriously.
So he reached out to
good.
us. He wants us to come down there. He's going to cook a whole pig and tell us all about it. So we're going to bring a bottle back. So maybe after
That's
we do
awesome.
that, we'll
Yeah.
bring some of that back. Let's try
Yeah,
that out.
sounds
You need to
great.
try that.
Yeah.
From Bolagie?
Yeah. Well, I'll get up with him and we'll
Let
do
us
that
know.
for sure.
That would
Yeah.
be fun.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And listen, also, I know before we came on air, I was saying how much we appreciate y'all, and that's serious.
Yes, sir.
You
Absolutely.
You and Giovanni, what
Absolutely.
y'all do, giving back to the community, law enforcement, fire. I mean, it's really important. And
I think we
very
do it because
grateful.
it's important. We don't do it just to do it, to put ourselves out there. Like
That's true. Y'all
yeah,
never do that.
No, it's just selflessly do it because that's what's important to help
Yeah.
our community and help show appreciation to everybody. Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
It's very meaningful. I don't
sir.
know that you hear that enough, but it really is. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank
That's
you.
why we do it for.
Yeah.
We don't do it for we don't want to be on the news, be in the paper, be big deal. Like we just
Right.
do it selflessly because that's what's important. That's what keeps the community going.
I'm about to
It really
tear up
does.
over here. Maybe I'll just drink again.
Drink again.
I've had a great time, guys.
Oh, I appreciate
Thanks so
it.
much.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, Hayes.
Anything else you need to add before we
I'm good, man.
call it out?
Thank you.
Anything, Matt? You good?
I'm good.
Boozy Spirits with Matt Ray and Justin Grimble.
This is all you could ever ask for, podcast.